And sitting next, he's sweating already because he is going to pick his starting 11. Who does he think that Jesse Marsch is putting into the starting 11? He's putting in work over there. This is the most work Jordan has ever done. And we're going to dig into it next.
In my life.
We are mere days away from Canada's World Cup opener against Bosnia and Herzegovina at the newly christened Toronto Stadium, the place where Jonathan Osorio and Richie Laryea call home. Oso will be part of that 26-man squad. Probably on the outside looking in terms of a starting 11 role. But certainly a player that's valued within the squad, and we'll see what or if he'll play at this World Cup. Wheeler, Wilson, and Conway with you, in particular, Jordan Wilson, because we've finally asked him to do some work for a change around here. Jesse Marsch has plenty of thinking to do when it comes to his starting 11, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe it picks itself at this point. Yeah. So we tasked Jordan to pick his team for us tonight in terms of who he thinks Jesse Marsch is going to name to his starting 11 for Friday's match, I should say, Friday's match against Bosnia, June 12th in Toronto. So I'm sure that Jesse's thinking about the potential matchup and what that will look like, as well as who may be fit. Question mark, question mark, question mark for his squad. So Jordan, present your 11, and John and I will systematically pick it apart.
Well, it's not that difficult to talk about the 11 that I think Jesse Marsch will play against Bosnia and Herzegovina, because it's the same.
I'll be nice.
It's the same 11 that started yesterday against Ireland. And look, a reason why I'm maybe pulling out my hair a little bit, or why I'm plucking hairs out of my beard, is because we don't know about Johnston and his health. 45 minutes after halftime, he had to come out, right? And heard it was a niggle. But then you're looking at Laryea as well, that played 60 minutes. I feel like he'll be good to go. But what happens if he isn't, or who's taking his place? Luke Defrigereau, I agree with you, John, has done well in the back line and solidifying things. And I also like that from his 7 starts, his 9 starts, 7 of them have been with Cornelius, which is nice. Like, they have that little bit of a partnership there. And he's had to play a lot, obviously, when Bambito has been out as well. So I do like that from the back line. But we're going to look at the same 11 that played against Ireland. And for me, is that the strongest 11 for Canada?
Let's go step by step. Let's start with the goalkeeper and the defenders. Yeah. So the same back 5. At this point, John, he named Crepeau as the starting goalkeeper. Sounds like you agree with that move. But it almost picks itself by who's actually available right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Crepeau has to be the guy, in my opinion. He's been so good. Nobody's really separated himself. Jesse Marsch gave both goalkeepers an equal opportunity to go out and separate themselves throughout the last 2 years or so, and I don't think anybody really has done that. But I think Crepeau just gives you that steady presence. He's got the hunger to get back in there, and I'm not saying that Dane St. Clair doesn't have the hunger, but Crepeau, after missing out in Qatar, comes back and makes some big saves. I mean, last night he made 2 huge saves. Yeah. You know, and like a guy like that who's got that steadiness behind you.
Doesn't really have many bad moments for Canada. Like,
he doesn't.
His body of work is very good for Canada.
Correct. And like, you need that steady ship behind you, and he does that. And I think that's great. I agree. I think if Richie is healthy, which looks like he is, he played 60 minutes. I think he has to be on the field no matter what. He needs to be somewhere because he's been so good for this team over the last 12, 16 months, even though he was out for a bit with injury. You know, Johnston's a concern. Again, he's your best player at the right back. If he's fit and ready, you have to have him in there. And again, if we go into the middle, and you bring up a great point, and I love the point that you made. The relationship building between Cornelius and Luke Defrigereau has grown, and I think that's value. And these last couple of games, you've seen Luke Defrigereau, and especially last night, how good he was, and I think that's value leading into this. So defensively, I am comfortable with where we're at in the back 5 guys, 4 in the goalkeeper.
Yeah, this team doesn't concede many goals. Okay, like, different players come out, different players come in, but they don't concede many goals. I just sometimes feel like they're flirting with disaster. Like, especially the stuff against the run of play. And if there's any player that they're going to have to lean on heavily, it's Derek Cornelius. And he's been a little bit all over it for me. Yeah. And I don't even blame the guy. He hasn't played football.
Yep.
Like, he was banished, essentially, from Rangers. When you're not playing first-team football, you say, why? Like, what was it about the player that the manager didn't value? And then how does he pick up just where he was supposed to be leaving off? Like, he's playing from a deficit right now. I think over these games, you can see his athleticism and his quickness and what he brings to the table, but his positioning was a little bit off and his timing. That is what worried me in particular. Larea, like, if Larea's not playing, then Nico Seeger's playing at a position. It's going to be really difficult.
Yep.
But Cornelius is the key one for me here. You know, he's the most experienced center back.
Agreed.
It looked like DeFugero was leading at times,
Yeah.
and not Cornelius over the course of the match against Ireland.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but when I see Luke DeFugero, it's the stability that he brings, right? Like, he doesn't overcomplicate things. I think we all know this. You've been a keeper. I played center back. Like, Wheels, you've played that role as well. It's like sometimes it's just about keeping it simple and not making big mistakes. I think Luke DeFugero does that very well. He's young. He's only 20, but he plays a mature role. As much as we haven't seen the best of Cornelius, I don't know why in my spirit I'm just not worried about him. I feel like he's used these 2 games to try to get up to the speed of play, which is, if you're a top player, and I think Cornelius is, but you just haven't played many games, all of a sudden people are just zooming by you and moving so quick. You can even see him as
when to pinch, when to sit back, like, it's the little things.
You can see early in the match, in the 8th minute against Ireland, the giveaway as well. It's like, okay, you think a pass is open in the midfield and you try to thread it in, all of a sudden the doors close on you. Those situations will happen. I just think against Bosnia and Herzegovina, he'll be ready for that. He's used these 2 games to be like, you know what, I got to clean things up. The momentum, the vibes, the understanding that he has to have a big boy performance. I think he'll be ready on Friday.
You know, you brought up something that just sparked something. Do you think, you know, get up to the pace of play, as you mentioned, how fast do you think it's going to be on Friday?
It's crazy.
It's going to be lightning.
You know,
People
the
aren't
fact
gonna
it
be able
might
to
be
blink.
like 32 degrees, though, like, might actually help Canada. Like, Canada will want to pick up the tempo. I think Bosnia will want to slow it down.
Yeah.
So that's where the challenge is going to be. So, but it's like Bosnia will play slow, quick.
Yeah.
And that's where my concern is about Cornelius, John. But we'll see. Friday might just be, I keep on saying Thursday, Mexico game on Thursday, but Friday. Let's move on to the midfield. The midfield 4 you have chosen. You kind of let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I was excited.
We'll show it anyways. We love our graphics team.
Look at
here
that.
At One Soccer.
Great graphics. I think the biggest one, obviously, the 3, when you're looking at Kone, Eustáquio, Buchanan, I feel like that one was set in stone regardless of who is playing, right? Like, the healthiest team that you have for Canada, I still think those 3 in the midfield will be there. The big one is Miller, right? Because people are underestimating, for me, Ali Ahmed not being there. We've talked about this many a time, how perfect he is in this Jesse Marsch system. And there's a reason why he's just ascended and he's just grown exponentially under Jesse Marsch, is because he plays that type of football. Forward thinking, he can go and press. But then you also lose Flores in the same week to the ACL, which I know many people are going to say, okay, we haven't seen much of Flores, but he covers a multitude of sins going forward. He's very shifty. Like, Tunisia, probably still, those defenders are still probably thinking about him. That's how nice he was on the ball, right? So Miller, I'm not knocking him, but it's just, all of a sudden you had a certain 11, you had a certain left winger, and now Miller's going to have to go and step up and produce big moments. I'm not worried about his work rate. I'm not worried about him tracking back. I just want to know if he's ready for a moment to go and produce something special for Canada. Because that's what this team needs in wide positions. Buchanan has the potential to go and do that, and Canada's banking on him to go and do it. But can Miller step up and get close to that level? That's the big question.
I think he can, because I think with the balance that they have in the midfield with Kone and Eustáquio kind of at the base of that, 2 guys that are willing runners, 2 guys that can pass the ball, it allows those guys outside to express themselves. Miller can go out and express himself and play with the confidence to get forward and be aggressive, because he knows he has those 2 guys in the midfield balancing it out and covering for him. You know, I think that's a big moment for him. You brought about him recovering and getting back. How about the play he made to recover back and slide tackle? I think it was late in the first half. Right? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, tremendous.
Yeah.
You know, so like for me, like I'm not concerned about him either, because I think that you have Kone and Eustáquio sitting in that midfield, allowing those 2 guys wide to be aggressive and forward thinking the whole time.
Will, do you have any concerns about the
I do. I understand why people really like Liam Miller. I like him because he's a very busy player. He's active. He's willing to put in the work. Just him and Tajon Buchanan need to be much more productive from wide areas, because there's heavy reliance on those areas to get in deep and then pick out David or Laren inside the 18. Those 2 strikers aren't getting the ball quick enough. Nowhere near. I think they're questioning where they play the ball. Like Liam Miller, 5 shots, none on target against Ireland. Ali Ahmed, I think he's just said this, he's the perfect player for Jesse Marsch. because when we press and recover and get on the ball,
and the repress.
Ahmed is decisive.
Yeah.
And he for me worked himself into a starting spot. So he might not start game number 1, but if Ahmed does catch up, I think that he immediately comes in that starting 11 and makes the team better. But
I think so too.
But Buchanan and Miller, both good need to be better.
Productivity.
Just need to produce more. The strikers, I mean, Jonathan David's playing with who? And this is who you think Jesse Marsch is going to roll with, correct?
I would do so many things different with these two. I would put Jay David at the 9. I've said it so many times. There's a world where I would put Kone at the 10 and Saliba in the midfield. There's a lot that you would do, right? But I really believe that this is the two that Jesse Marsch is going to go with. And I've been trying to think of all the reasons that we can maybe grasp and that are tangible to us. And maybe it's the fact that this is a partnership and you're looking at the 2 most decorated goal scorers in Canadian history. Maybe it's the fact that as well, you're looking at the last World Cup in 2022 in Qatar. They started all 3 matches together as well up top, right? You're looking at these 2 guys of what they could potentially be. And maybe it's just like, oh, do you want to leave that on the bench? And maybe that's why Jesse Marsch is playing them. But I think in a world where you're going to go against Bosnia and Herzegovina, and maybe you want some speed, maybe you want some power. I say speed, I think of Taniolo Shea. I say power. I know he might not be ready, but I promise David and what he could bring. But he really loves this combination with Larin. I just think it's okay for us to have questions if this match ends 0-0, if there aren't any shots on target, and we have Canada's best player ever in Jonathan David getting the ball at the center circle with pressure on his back in the 10 position. That's completely okay to question. But now he's gotten to this point after 30 games where he's adamant about playing Jay David at the 10, and Kyle Larin just doesn't look like a real threat or presence. And I think that's by nature of how Canada plays. Not necessarily him not wanting to go and produce. It's just service that you mentioned, and the fact that you're maybe not using him in his best way and his best area for him to go and succeed. And that's what's has me a bit worrisome about Friday.
I think the big thing for me is that we're hopeful that these guys start scoring. We're hopeful that they start filling the back of the net. And I don't like going into a big competition with being hopeful. I like to be trending in a direction knowing that these guys, either both of them or one of them is finding their form and getting goals and banging goals. And unfortunately, we're not in that position.
These are the facts. Kyle Larin hasn't scored since 2024 for Canada. And then you look at Jay David, who's the Iceman and very prolific. The 15 games, he hasn't scored an open play. Right? So you're looking at, okay, a set piece or penalties. That's cool if that's what Canada's banking on. I just don't know if that's enough wheels at a World Cup. That's where my concern lies.
That was the last goal against Romania. The flicked header. Jonathan David is a concern. I think a lot of people have swerved this conversation. We have not here on One Soccer, because he has to be Canada's best player, especially if he's playing the number 10 position. Jesse's playing him there because he thinks that that's the most important position for his formation. The problem is it's not the best formation for Jonathan David. The question is why he continues to go back to the Kyle Larin well. That's the question that has been asked and continues to need to be asked. Is it just because the other options don't breathe any confidence? Promise David, when healthy, wasn't getting burned from Jesse Marsch. It was Taniolo Shea. Now, all of a sudden, Larin goes on a bit of a heater. A lot of the goals coming off the bench for Southampton. And now, all of a sudden, he's replaced Tanny in the starting 11. I think the team looks better with Taniolo Shea in it because he does everything else better than Kyle Larin other than finish. So you are sacrificing all those intangibles, the ability to press, the ability to be in the right position. You saw him assist 2 goals by being in the right position and making the right decision. Larin doesn't do those things. Larin has one thing in his locker that's better than Tanny, and that is he's a more reliable goal scorer. Unfortunately, he doesn't get those chances for Canada, and when he does, he hasn't capitalized. What is it, 1 goal under Jesse Marsch? 1 in over 23 games now? I'm shocked he hasn't pulled the plug. I'm also shocked he only named the 3 other strikers to the team other than Jonathan David. The fact that Daniel Jebison and Jason Russell-Rowe are in there surprised me. Now, some people will say, well, they haven't performed either. Well, what is the theme here? A number of strikers all not performing under this manager right now. So what is it? Is it the players aren't good enough? Is it the system? Is it the manager not using them right? What is it? Or it could be a combination of all of them. What I do know right now is we have a collection of strikers who give little enthusiasm or belief that they're going to be able to flip that switch come next week and be able to start banging goals. This is the problem. But Larin David right now seems to be the way that he's going.
Absolutely. And when you look at also from Jay David's perspective, if he's the best player for me, which he is in the attacking, for the attack for Canada, and he's getting the least amount of touches, or the least, like that doesn't make sense to me. That's not 1 + 1 = 2. A guy that you want to get in the box, that you know, okay, the ball falls to him in the 18, he's going to caress that in the bottom corner. He's not getting those opportunities. Furthermore, the person that he's partnered with, and Kyle Larin, could also finish, but just doesn't look lively enough based on the way that they play. So you're so right, Wheels. It is a combination, but something's got to give. Because look, if you think that Ireland, Uzbekistan, Tunisia, these teams that you're playing to get ready for a World Cup are going to be strict defensively, what about Bosnia and Herzegovina? What about when you're playing Switzerland? Like, that is going to be on the biggest stage. It will be duct airtight.
Yep.
Just want to mention quickly before we go to break, Bosnia and Herzegovina, all but 5 of their players are over 6 feet tall. Like, the center backs, like Defugerol, Cornelius, like, can they handle what Bosnia are bringing them? That's going to be a big question. 20 seconds here. Is this a winning starting 11 come Friday, John?
I have to believe it is.
Okay.
If I believe in Canada, I have to believe it is.
Yes. It could be. I don't think Canada will see games where they're scoring 2-3 goals, but one might make it enough.
Okay.
Right? 1-0, tidy.
Friday. It gets real, everyone. It gets real. In Toronto, 3 p.m. kickoff. Canada's next game is the following week as they travel across the country. That's difficult travel as well, but they're playing probably the worst team in the group in Qatar. And then the mighty Switzerland on June 24th. Happy birthday, Mom. It's Mama Wheeler's birthday that day.